Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.
Vasishtha continued, O Rama, there are 4 gatekeepers at the entrance to the realm of freedom or moksha. They are self-control, spirit of inquiry, contentment, and good company. The wise seeker should diligently cultivate the friendship of these, or at least one of them. In order to cross this formidable ocean of samsara, repetitive history, one should resort to that which is eternal and unchanging. He alone is the best among the men, O Rama, whose mind rests in the eternal and is therefore fully self-controlled and at peace. He sees that pleasure and pain chase each other and cancel each other. And in that wisdom, there is self-control and peace. He who does not see this sleeps in a burning house. He who gains the wisdom of the eternal here is freed from samsara, and he is not born again in ignorance. One may doubt that such unchanging truth may not exist. If it does not, one comes to no harm by inquiring into the nature of life. Seeking the eternal will soften the pain caused by the changes in life. But if it exists, then by knowing it, one is freed. The eternal is not attained by rites and rituals, by pilgrimage, nor by wealth. It is to be attained only by the conquest of one's own mind, by cultivating of wisdom. Hence, everyone, gods, demons, demigods, or men, should constantly seek the conquest of the mind and self-control, which are the fruits of wisdom. When the mind is at peace, pure, tranquil, free from delusion or hallucination, untangled and free from cravings, it does not long for anything, nor does it reject anything. This is self-control or conquest of mind, one of the 4 gatekeepers to liberation, which I mentioned earlier. That which is auspicious and good flows from self-control. All evil is dispelled by self-control. No gain, no pleasure in this world or in the heaven is comparable to the delight of self-control. The delight one experiences in the presence of the self-controlled is incomparable. Everyone spontaneously trusts him. None, even the demons and goblins, hate him. Self-control, O Rama, is the best remedy for all physical and mental ills. When there is self-control, even the food that you eat would taste better, else it tastes bitter. He who wears the armor of self-control is not harmed by sorrow. He who, even while hearing, touching, seeing, smelling, and tasting what is regarded as pleasant and unpleasant, is neither elated nor depressed. He is self-controlled. He who looks upon all beings with equal vision, having brought under the sensations of pleasure and pain, is self-controlled. He, though living amongst all, is unaffected by them, neither feels elated nor hates, is self-controlled. Inquiry, the second gatekeeper to liberation, should be undertaken by an intelligence that has been purified by a close study of scripture, and this inquiry should be unbroken. By such inquiry, the intelligence becomes keen and is able to realize the supreme. Hence, inquiry alone is the best remedy for this long-lasting illness known as samsara. The wise man regards strength, intellect, efficiency, and timely action as the fruit of inquiry. Indeed, kingdom, prosperity, and enjoyment, as well as final liberation, are all the fruits of inquiry. The spirit of inquiry protects one from calamities that befall the unthinking fool. When the mind has been rendered dull by the absence of inquiry, even the cool rays of the moon turn into deadly weapons, and the childish imagination throws up a goblin in every dark spot. Hence, the non-inquiring fool is really a storehouse of sorrow. In the absence of inquiry, that gives rise to action that are harmful to oneself and to others, and to numerous psychosomatic illnesses. Therefore, one should avoid the company of such unthinking people. They, in whom the spirit of inquiry is ever awake, illuminate the world, enlighten all who come in contact with them, dispel the ghost created by an ignorant mind, and realize the falsity of sense pleasures and their objects. O Rama, in the light of inquiry, there is realization of the eternal and unchanging reality. This is the supreme. With it, one does not long for any other gain, nor does one spurn anything. He is free from delusion, attachment. He is not inactive, nor he does get drowned in action. He lives and functions in this world, and at the end of natural lifespan, he reaches the blissful state of total freedom. The eyes of spiritual inquiry does not lose its sight, even in the midst of all the activity. He does not have this eye, is indeed to be pitied. It is better to be born as a frog in the mud, a worm in dung, a snake in the hole, but not without the eye of self-inquiry. What is inquiry? To inquire thus, who am I? How has this evil of samsara come into being? Is true inquiry. Knowledge of truth arises from such inquiry. From such knowledge there follows tranquility in oneself, and then arises the supreme peace that passeth understanding, and the ending of all the sorrows. Contentment is another gatekeeper to liberation. He who has quaffed the nectar of contentment does not relish cravings for sense pleasure. No delight in this world is as sweet as contentment, which destroys all sins. What is contentment? To renounce all cravings for what is not obtained unsought, and to be satisfied with what comes unsought, without being elated or depressed even by them. This is contentment. As long as one is not satisfied in the self, he will be subjected to sorrow. With the rise of contentment, the purity of one's heart blooms. The contented man who possesses nothing owns the world. Satsanga, the company of wise, holy and enlightened persons, is yet another gatekeeper to liberation. Satsanga enlarges one's intelligence, destroys one's ignorance and one's psychological distress. Whatever be the cost, however difficult it may be, whatever obstacles may stand in its way, satsang should never be neglected, for satsang alone is one's light on the path of life. Satsang is indeed superior to all forms of religious practices like charity, austerity, pilgrimage, and the performance of religious rites. One should by every means in one's power adore and serve the holy men who have realized the truth, and in whose heart the darkness of ignorance has been dispelled. They, on the other hand, who treat such holy men disrespectfully, surely invite great sufferings. These four, contentment, satsanga, the spirit of inquiry, and self-control, are four surest means by which They who are drowned in this ocean of samsara can be saved. Contentment is the supreme gain. Satsang is the best companion to the destination. The spirit of inquiry itself is the greatest wisdom, and self-control is supreme happiness. If you are unable to resort to all of these four, then practice one. By diligent practice of one of these, the others will also be found in you. The highest wisdom will seek you of its own accord. Until you tame the wild elephant of your mind with the help of these noble qualities, you cannot have the progress towards the supreme. Even if you become a god, a demigod, or a tree. Therefore, O Rama, strive by all means to cultivate these noble qualities. He who is endowed with these noble qualities that I have enumerated thus far is qualified to listen to what I am about to reveal. You are indeed such a qualified person, O Rama. With this, we finish today's chapter. See you again.